Hi you guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hello, my name is Suggs and I am a writer and motivational hacker. And basically what that means is that I am documenting my journey as a writer. So on this channel, I am going to be giving writing tips and sometimes sharing my writing journey and also sharing positive living hacks to help you reach your goals. So if that sounds like something that you might be interested in, I would love for you to subscribe and join my community. So let's get right into today's video. Today's video is all about NaNoWriMo. So happy first day of NaNoWriMo. Last year, I did NaNoWriMo for the first time, and I decided that I was going to join by writing my first ever fantasy novel. I started writing it, I created a notebook, I outlined, I started doing all the things that you're supposed to do to prepare for NaNoWriMo. When NaNoWriMo actually got here, the first couple days were good and I started writing and everything was fine, but then the pressure of having to meet goals and deadlines got to me. So halfway through the whole thing, not even halfway through, I think it was like a week after I started, I was like, I can't do this, forget it. Just the thought of having a deadline just totally freaked me out and blocked my creativity. So what I ended up doing is I put that novel to rest and I put it to the side and I finished the other novel I was writing, and that went good. I finished writing that novel. I submitted it for editing. I'm waiting for that novel to come back from editing so that I can submit it to the literary agent that actually requested it. And so I wasn't sure if I was going to do NaNoWriMo again this year because of the problems I had last year. But I just had an idea for a new novel that I'm really excited to start writing. And I thought, okay, you know what? Maybe I'll try NaNoWriMo again because I love being part of a group of people that are doing the same thing as me. So just yesterday, I decided I'm going to do NaNoWriMo, but I'm going to do it a little differently. As you probably know already, I didn't plan for this, so there is no outline, there is no notebook that I prepared. I just have it all in my head. And let's go back a little bit because last year and in previous videos, I've always talked about how I wrote my first 3 novels. Well, everything I've written thus far has been on a pantser level. I have not outlined anything except for the fantasy novel that I started outlining last year during Nano. And although I strongly think and believe that outlining is a great thing to do, it actually has stopped me from writing. I got back to that novel again this year, and what I started doing is I started again with a new outline. I ended up deleting like 10,000 words that I wrote last year during Nano on that fantasy novel. I ended up outlining, creating worlds, and really identifying the characters and creating my mood board and doing all the things. And still, when it got down to writing, I was totally blocked. Now, this could be one or two things. Maybe it has nothing to do with the outlining process that I've been doing. Maybe it has to do with the fact that the story, maybe it's not for me right now. Even though I love it and it's in my head, maybe someday I'll get to it. But right now, maybe writing a fantasy novel is just too much for me. So I'm not going to blame it totally on the preparation process that I've done or even the outlining that I've done. But given that outcome and knowing that in the past I've just jumped into writing and have actually finished it, I'm going to try that again. So I am back to my old self and I'm going to be a pantser for this novel. I have the characters in my head. I know exactly what I'm doing. And I'm just going to start writing and see what happens at the end of November. I'm actually aiming for a first draft, whatever that means. I'm not going to put any pressure. I'm going to call it 50,000 words, but if it ends up being less than that, but I've written the first draft, I'm perfectly fine with that. If it ends up being more than that, again, I'm perfectly fine, because what I'm aiming for is a first draft of this new novel that I'm really excited for. So with that said, I do want to say that in the past, the novel that is out to my editor right now that I will be submitting to my literary agent, what I did was, after I wrote the novel and I realized the benefits of outlining, what I did is I worked backwards and I edited using, when I edited, I went backwards and I made sure that I was hitting all the points that you're supposed to do in a regular novel. Like, I make sure I had my hook and my inciting incident, and that I had my first pinch point, my first plot point, that I had my climax in the proper place, that I had my conclusion, that I had all the elements, and I did this after the novel was written. So that's why I'm not going to beat myself up too much about not plotting everything out and not outlining, because I know that once I write it, I'm going to go back into the novel and make sure that I've hit all the points that are supposed to be in a novel that normally you would do at the start of writing. I am going to do it at the end of writing the first draft, and then fix it all together in the drafts that follow. So that's what I'm gonna do. I know it's very unconventional and different than everybody else. Everybody's been prepping the entire month of October, and I have not prepped whatsoever. I just knew that this novel was going to be one that I was going to write, and all of a sudden I got all the feels to start writing it. So I'm definitely going to start writing it without outlining. So if you're like me and you're sort of a pantser and you want to leave me a comment below saying that you're with me, I would love to hear from you, to know that I am not alone. But I am actually really excited about this, you guys. You know, just getting ready to write is just like exciting for me. Sometimes, you know, the planning and the thinking about it actually sometimes for me is worse than just sitting down to write. I know that for me, whenever I've wanted to just finish a novel and just get ready to write, the more I just sit down and do it, the faster I finish it, the more I get accomplished, instead of all this planning and thinking about it and what am I going to do and how am I going to do it. Sometimes all you have to do is sit down and write. All right, you guys, well, this is a short one, and I'm going to be posting, I think, another video on Sunday, because I have a huge announcement. I have a cover reveal for my next novel, for a novel, not a next novel, for a novel that I previously released, Falling for You. It's my contemporary romance novel, and I have a newsletter that goes out. I think it's going to be going out on Sunday. I am going to be revealing the cover and sharing some inside scoop as to why I decided to do a new cover for this book that I previously released. So if you're interested in learning why I'm changing the cover, if you're interested in knowing what the cover looks like before anyone else, then I invite you to subscribe to my email list. I will leave it in the description box below, and I will definitely keep posting things on NaNoWriMo and let you know how it all is going. And I hope you have a great month of writing and that you get that draft finished. Until next time, you guys stay safe.